Hey guys, happy Monday and welcome to another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So, as you can see, and if you saw the thumbnail, you know that we went ahead and tore into the Manx today. I'll come back to that. Let me start off by saying we are having a heat wave in Southern California, and it is 100 degrees in the shop right now. And I am sweating my butt off. But what are you gonna do? Volkswagens need to be built. So here we are. So let's talk about 64 today. This is what Rafa worked on most of today. I guess since I'm standing next to the horn, I'll go ahead and point that out. He had assembled this horn previously, and before that we had sent out and had zinc plating done and stuff, and it looks amazing. So we got that all mounted up and wired. He also mounted the steering column, which we had recently painted. So the tube here and the clamp, and then of course the whole turn signal mechanism, the steering shaft itself. So all this went in today. The turn signal switch is all wired up. So yeah, moving right along. Again, we're going to try and put the body on this car soon. So let's try to get some things done before that happens. The axis covers went on today, little details, but still things that need to be done. So what else? The assist straps went in. So these beautiful straps here and their respective coat hooks here. I don't know who would hang a coat from there, but I suppose you could if you really needed to. I think those are the main things that got done on this today. So yeah, moving right along. The other thing is Rafa tested out a radio for it, one that the owner had with it, which was an original Sapphire 1 radio, and unfortunately it didn't work. Rafa also had a very, very nice Sapphire 1 radio in his stash, which he tested out, and unfortunately it also doesn't work. So we're going to have to maybe scour the Samba and so on for a radio. So the original plan for this, and I need to mention this to the owner when I talk to him, or I guess he'll know if he's watching this video, is that we were going to put a retro sound radio in this car, and they don't make radios for 6-volt cars, which I didn't know that. We'd installed a handful of those, but they were all 12 volts. Retro sound, hello, retro. I don't know why they don't make radios for 6-volt cars. I can't imagine it would be that hard to put a step up voltage regulator inside the radios, charge us a few bucks more, whatever. So if anyone from Retro Sound happens to see this, please make 6-volt radios. You guys are missing out on some customers, because a lot of us like 6-volt cars. We're restoring cars, we're making them original. That includes 6 volts. Make some radios for us. Anyway, that's enough of that rant. But yeah, this one's coming right along, so we still have to get a radio for it. They're out there, and we'll find a nice one. The trick is finding one that has the correct color knobs on it, which will be sort of gray. And so, yeah, we'll see. We'll find one. Anyway, so this guy, yeah, as you can see, started tearing it apart today. And look at that original gel coat. I cannot get enough of that metal flake red. So I think I mentioned the first plan of attack for the body of this is going to be to try and strip this paint off it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that gel coat is as nice everywhere as it is right there. And if it is, then the whole thing will be brought back to its original gel coat. If it's not, if there's damage, there's maybe some cracks here, but if there's anywhere that has a lot of Bondo or stuff like that, and it's not going to look good in the gel coat, then the guy named Miguel, I believe, in San Diego, who kind of specializes in painting these things, he can actually spray paint that's very close to this course of metal flake. So it'll pretty much look just like that, but it won't be truly the original gel coat, but to 99+% of people out there, it'll look just like that. So either way, it's going to look bitchin'. So yeah, we're going to go back to the original red metal flake on this car, and it's going to look killer. So first thing I did today was pull out the rear cage, which was kind of a pain in the ass. Naturally everything was frozen and covered in grease. And actually, before I pulled that off, I pulled off the skid plate, which had about that thick layer of gunk, so oil, dirt, whatever else on it. Scraped off probably 5 to 10 pounds of that stuff. Got that off first, then got the rear bumper cage off. And then the motor came out without fighting me too much, other than being disgusting, and especially the nuts on the 2 lower studs. So the nuts on these, which are on the transmission side of the bell housing, you couldn't even see them. I mean, they were so buried in gunk that it took me like a few minutes just to kind of dig out the nuts for these, because they were so coated in gunk. But once I found them, they came out without really any trouble. The top ones came out without any trouble, you know, got everything else disconnected. And yeah, the motor came out without too much drama. So got that out. And then went ahead and pulled out the transmission, which was really disgusting also, and it still really is disgusting. That hasn't changed, but it will. And so despite that chassis being, I don't remember, it's like a 58 or 59 chassis, it does have a tunnel style transmission in it, so later style transmission, which is good actually. I mean, it's they're much beefier boxes than the earlier split case style that would have come in say a 59 chassis. So yeah, slightly later transmission. I don't know what year transmission this is, but again, it's not a split case, so it's a more durable transmission. And so yeah, we'll rebuild this and it'll look better than new when we're done with it, and it won't be disgusting anymore. So those came out. That took a long time to get all that stuff out because it was so gross, and it took me again forever to kind of dig out that stuff. I took out the roll bar, so remember it had this big kind of hoop roll bar on it. You can see it right there. Took that out. That wasn't too bad. And what else? Took out the windscreen, also wasn't too bad. And also went ahead and pulled off all the lights, so front turn indicators came off. The very cool, I think the brand name is Dietz on those headlights. And actually in really nice shape. They're painted yellow, of course, but we'll powder coat them black and they'll look correct and original. And so I think that is as far as I got on it today. The back of it is just on a dolly now, so I can push it back here for the evening. Luckily these cars are short, so I can stick it back there and still have room to park some cars over here. But yeah, tomorrow I'm going to continue tearing this thing apart, and hopefully what I do tomorrow will be easier than what I did today, so easier than the stuff back here. Tomorrow I'll probably go ahead and yank out the front suspension and, you know, like the steering and stuff, and then it's pretty much time to start unbolting the body from the pan. So I'm hoping by the end of tomorrow, assuming I don't have a heat stroke first, that I will have the body and pan separated, and then the pan and body will go over to Brian Washburn's shop and he can start working his magic. And yeah, this thing's gonna move right along. We gotta make some decisions about the motor in the coming days before we send it off or anything, but yeah, other than that, this thing's gonna move right along here. Once we get the body and pan separated, then things are really gonna start happening. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.